Okay, in today's video we're going to be going through something a little bit different. We're going to be going through a program that calculates the sum of a given integer. So say we would input 1 to 3, we want to output 6, which is just 1 plus 2 plus 3. And in order to do that, first of all, we're going to be having a function which we can call summer. Let's call it int summer int x. Okay, obviously we're going to be scanning in an integer x, storing the value of x, add the EOF so we don't have to close the program down, and then here we're going to print out %d sum of x, summer of x actually. There we go. Okay, so what does this function do? This function is gonna loop through something and add the integers all together. So of course, before we loop, let's add something. We need like a helper function, we can call it, and we can call that int sum, and we want the function to start from 0, and then it's going to be calculating. So I'm going to do this with a while loop, and then I'm going to show you how it works with a for loop. It's quite similar. And to do it with a while loop, we're going to break the loop when x is bigger than 0 or larger than 0. Okay? And then what we want to do here is we want to have the loop that is going to loop through. But before we do that, we can actually do the return. The return is going to be a sum, right? It's going to be this function. We're going to be returning that function. So what does this function do? First of all, in order to get we want to separate the numbers from each other. And in order to do that, we know that any number mod 10 is going to return, if the number is below 10, it's going to return the same number. And if the number is, say, 12 mod 10, it's going to return 2. Now, what if we have 142 mod 10 is going to return 2, right? Because mod is how many 10s will fit in 142, and what is the remainder? 2. Okay? So currently, we want to return the last number in order to sum it. We want to keep looping through and until there's no more numbers to add. So sum contains sum plus x modulo 10. And then once we're done with that, we want to get this, say we would input 42, and that will be mod, which will give us 2. We want to get the next number that we're going to be using, which is 42 divided by 10 is 4.2, which is just going to return 4 in this case. And now in the sum function, we're going to have sum equals sum, and the new sum is obviously 2, plus the new x, which is 4, right? Because the x has to be separated as well, which is 4 mod 10. That also returns 4, and 2 plus 4 is 6. Now I have a little script that I made that I'm going to show you, but let me just finish this real quick. And that was the reason why we're going to be having x divided by 10. And also, you could do it, instead of typing like x divided by equals x divided by 10, you could do this. This is the same thing, but I like to do it like this because it like visualizes what you're doing a little bit more clearer and easier. Anyway, we're going to try this function and say we'd give it 1 to 3, it should return 6. Now, we can do this a little bit differently with a while loop, which is quite simple as well. All we have to do is just change the conditions and change the name. We can call this int I equals 0. It stops the loop when x is bigger than 0, and I plus plus. Now, as you see, this is exactly the same. But what I'm going to go through a little bit more extra what these functions do, and I'm going to go through every step of the loop so you understand if you still haven't caught it yet. So say we would input 1 to 3. Then the output would say sum equals sum plus 123 modulo 10. Okay? This is what we're saying right here. Because sum is defined as 0. So this would basically be the same as typing 0 over here and 0 over here. And this is not mathematics, so this doesn't mean this has to be 0, but you know what I'm trying to say. So sum, that's why we typed sum equals 0 in the beginning. Now, this will store a new value in sum, the value of 3. Because all in this code only contains 123 modulo 10, which is 3. So this means the new sum is going to be 3. Then we're going to go to the x, and the x is going to be 123 divided by 10, which is going to store the value of 12. Because 123 divided by 10 is 12.3, and there is no decimals in C, which is why we're going to be having 12. Okay? And then after that, it's going to loop through again. But it's going to loop through with the values sum equals to 3 and x equals to 12. Okay? So again, sum equals 3, as you see here, this is 3. So sum equals 3 plus x modulo 10. And the new x is 12. So sum equals 3 plus 12 modulo 10. 12 modulo 10 is 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. Now we have a new value. Before it was 0, then it became 3, and now it's 5. Sum has the value of 5 now. Now, what is going to happen here? X equals x divided by 10. This means our x that we had over here, which is 12, is going to be divided by 10. So x equals 12 divided by 10, which is 1.2, and there's no decimals, so 1. So 12 divided by 10 is 1. Now x is stored as the value of 1, sum is stored as the value of 5. Now it's going to loop through again and reach this. Now this says that sum, which is 5, plus x modulo 10. The new x is 5, which is 5. The new x is 1, I'm sorry. The new sum is 5. So it's 5 plus 1 modulo 10. And 1 modulo 10 is the same as saying 1. So what this says is, I'm going to just do, this says 5 plus 1. Because 1 modulo 10 is the same as 1. 5 modulo 10 is the same as 5. Any number below 10 is the same. And then sum is equals to 0. Sum is equals to 6, I'm sorry. And then after that, we have the value of x, which is 1, right? Just if, because you see the loop breaks, but I'm going to show you why. So let's say x is the same as 1. We're going to have x equals 1 divided by 10. And this is the same as, well, 0.5 doesn't count. 0.1 doesn't count because this has to be a digit and without decimals, which is 0. And here we have said that the loop only goes while x is larger than 0. So the next loop, x will be divided by 10, which is below 0, and that will break the loop. So once this reaches below 0, we see that the loop breaks. And that's why the loop stops, and then we have our number finished. So I hope this little explanation made you understand a little bit more what the program does, and if you don't, feel free to ask in the comment section.